Strike Studio presents.
There's new podcast and stuff. Hey everybody, guess who's back? We're live, we're here in the ring. I'm in a chair, there's a simulated ring behind me, but that's okay. It's Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. Once again, we're live right here in parts unknown, and that is because this ring, I'm sure you'll never find it. But folks, I'll tell you right now, one thing that you will find is entertainment week after week, day after day, year after year. Yes, folks, here for you because we are live in living color right here on your YouTube screen or wherever you find us. If you're on iTunes, folks, thanks for listening. You're going to miss my stupid facial mannerisms. So thank you for tuning in via iTunes. We're also on Spotify. We're also, folks, on Instagram, TikTok. I had to think about it. Trust me, I had a glitch, okay? Anyways, that was just my 80s version of a glitch, okay? So anyways, folks, we're going to continue. Back to focus. We're going to tell you right now that we are doing so much on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Larry Lawrence Podcast, LarryLawrencepodcast podcast. Okay, we're doing this every single week. We come up with ideas, creative ways. Maybe we're going to have our interview officially next week. I'm not going to jinx it because you know what? You never know. As Vince McMahon would say in the World Wrestling Federation, you never know what's going to happen in the World Wrestling Federation. See, that was just my cheap way of doing Vince back in the 80s when he was a good guy. Tonight's episode, folks, today's episode, whatever time it is where you're checking us out, folks, whatever time zone around the world, we're going to let you know right now, our episode today, we're going to shift gears. Even though we were covering the Monday Night Wars, we're going to shift gears. We're going to go into Saturday night, folks. Saturday night, folks. Saturday night's main event on NBC or whatever channel. I believe it was maybe one more channel, but I believe mainly it was always on NBC. Oh, yeah, it was on Fox one time. That's right. So, the Wrestling Encyclopedia. I told you, folks, this is why you tune in to find out information about wrestling. We find out about stuff. Because remember, the show's called Larry's New Wrestling Podcast and Stuff. And once again, we're doing it for you. Why, you ask? It's because we're doing it because we want to make a difference. COVID-19, this is a health issue. There's a lot of stuff going on around the world. There's even an explosion in Lebanon. Folks, in Beirut. All this area, folks, is war-ridden. And I'll tell you why. It's because we don't have the attitude of gratitude. We don't have things that make us happy. We want to cause pain and inflict pain, just like in the ring behind me, brother. Why do we want to do that? Because we are doomed to repeat ourselves over and over again. Do we have to, folks? Do we really have to keep going around in circles over and over and over again, repeating the same mistakes? No, we don't. That's why you tune in here, folks, to find out a positive message. That even though there are people dead under rubble, there's things that are happening around our world, homelessness, sickness, COVID, all this is happening right now in our world today. And it's a ring that we're fighting in. No, it's a battle all over the world, folks. It's not just in one ring. The world is our ring. We have to do something about it. We have to give back. We have to learn how to be positive. You have to go vegan. Go vegan. It's okay to go vegan. I'm learning this, folks. It's okay. No meat, no cheese. It's okay. There's no reason for you not to do it. Go plant-based. It's okay. Because we're learning about stuff on Larry's New Wrestling Podcast and Stuff. You see how that falls under the category of stuff. so that way it doesn't get looked on as non-wrestling related verbiage. Back to focus. What we're doing today, folks, is we're giving you an understanding that sports is even back. Yes, Major League Baseball, also basketball, and I will do it my silent swoosh. And pretty soon, football. That was a triangle. You're supposed to hold your hands up, like not like the Diamond Dallas Page. It does kind of look like DDP here, but not like the Diamond Cutter, but you're supposed to hold it up and they're supposed to target. That's your target for the football. Because I played football. Yes, folks, I played high school football. Yes, this right here. Do you see this very buff guy? No, I'm not buff. I'm not the stuff. And the girls, though, they still can't get enough. Anyways, I had to. I'm sorry, ladies. I had to. Because you know what? I'm charming. Don't lie to me. Well, you can't. Because you can't speak to me. See the dilemma here we're going with, folks, here? We're always having issues really figuring who Larry is truly. Is he having a conversation with himself? Does he really think that there's actually an audience right here? Yes, I do. But in reality, I do love the new show we're giving you. And the reason why I do love this show is because I'm hoping to make a difference in people's lives. I'm almost 2 years sober. I'm excited to share that, and I'm excited to share that we have a lot of change in our lives here, folks. Why? Because we may have shifted gears because people motivated you to change direction. And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You just have to understand it's the right thing for right now. And let's see where it goes. And that's what we're doing with this show. We're trying to see where it goes. If it goes in the trash, it goes in the trash. But at least we try, right? But the one thing I tell you it won't do, it won't bore you. It will always give you something to think about and scratch your head and going, what was he talking about? Things that make you go, That's an old reference to Arsenio, Let's Get Busy for my whatever generation we are. I have no idea. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm not in my 20s anymore. But that's okay. I still look like I am if you take out my wrinkles. Anyways. I'm really excited, folks. We got to get back to focus. But you know what? I do this because I want to make sure you know I'm human. I don't want you to think I'm just going to read off a script. I'm not going to say, oh, this is never. See, that's what current wrestling is, folks. Current wrestling. If you want to talk crap, let's start talking crap. Why not? Let's talk crap. The current product. Once again, I tried watching it this past Monday. I had to fast forward through most of it, but there's this new club now they're starting to do. It's called the Raw Underground. Well, Raw Underground can be buried underground because it's like the worst play fighting you'll ever see. It's play fighting. It's kind of like UFC meets cat fight. You know, it's like two grown men, but ECW girls pulling each other's hair out. What is appealing about that? Why would I want to watch? If I want to watch UFC, I'm going to watch the UFC. If I want to watch the greatest comeback in boxing history, Iron Mike Tyson. Yes, the man beast is back September 12th, $49.99. I'll pay the extra penny. Screw it. Charge me tax. Screw it. I am going to see the man beast defeat Roy Jones Jr. in a I'm predicting it right here, folks. You heard it here first. I want to say first, but I'm going to say the second round. A minute 30 in the second round. Go ahead, put your bets in Vegas. Folks, Mike Tyson knocks out Roy Jones Jr. Second round, a minute 30 into the second round. All right? You heard it here on Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. And if you don't win because you lost your bet, I'm sorry. That's all I can tell you. Because seriously, don't bet. I've learned this. It's just better not to bet. But it's an addiction, just like girls, relations. I'm going to keep it G-rated because we don't want an audience to be too young and not be able to watch. We're just saying that this is the best show ever when it comes to knowledge and power. Like Iron Mike Tyson, like Mike Tyson's punch out where you couldn't beat him because I was the only guy I could never beat. I could never defeat Tyson in Mike Tyson's punch out. It pissed me off. He took me all the way. And sometimes I wouldn't even make it to Tyson. I would lose right before Tyson. I forgot who the hell it was. It was that big homie. I don't remember his name. Anyways, I should have looked it up, but whatever. I don't care. All I know is the King Hippo, though, he hit him in the stomach. And that crowd, I don't know. You just have to play 8-bit Nintendo. There's no way for me to describe the excitement I'm trying to give you. I'm even losing my voice. Clarity. Clarity. Speak from the diaphragm. Anyways, back to focus. That game taught me so much about getting your ass whooped. I did take a few back in the day, maybe once or twice when we played boxing in 15, and Paco knocked me out. Not that I remember. Actually, I do. But not the part when I blacked out. Then I woke up like, whoa, what happened? I got knocked out. You got knocked up. You know what? You know, that one that they say in Friday. You got knocked out. See how I just bleep myself? Folks, this show is not a normal show. If you thought you're going to get normal here, I'm sorry, but you're not. You're not going to get normal on Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. Now, folks, let's focus on our show today. Let's focus on Saturday night's main event. Yes, and even Buster Douglas was the replacement guy. If you want to talk about boxing and my knowledge of wrestling, Buster Douglas defeated Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was going through some troublesome times. And instead of utilizing Mike Tyson as a special guest referee for a Hogan versus Savage match, it was Buster Douglas. Yes. So, folks, realize anything is possible in the World Wrestling Federation, but it's not Buster Douglas. It's the man that was at WrestleMania and counted the shoulders of Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, for Steve Austin. And he turned on DX because he was doing that crotch stab. And oh, yeah, Mike Tyson is a huge part of professional wrestling. So he was also a big part of possibly a spectacle that really took over in the 1980s. And in the 80s, because they didn't really bring Tyson in until the Stone Cold era. But someone by the name of Muhammad Ali in 1985 was there, folks. And this boxer, and since we keep referencing boxing because that ring behind us could be wrestling, boxing, it could be a ring of life and destruction that's going bad or life and positivity that's going good. Just got to throw in both. So what we're doing here is letting you know Saturday night's main event with Jesse the Body Ventura and Vince McMahon doing random acts of hilarity, riding horses and wearing cowboy outfits. And Vince McMahon, you see him in the background. He's trying to get the horse to work, but he can't because he doesn't know how to ride a horse. He's not a jockey. He's a wrestling promoter. But Vince always wanted to do things wherever they were. Like they were in Texas. Screw it. Let's get on horses. That's what they do to get around here. See how stereotypical Vince was? And folks, back in the day, Jesse the Body could speak his mind without being censored. He could say politically incorrect things, like he called him Chico, even though his name was Tito. He was somewhat being a racist, but now Twitter will go, oh my God, did you hear what the broadcaster said? All these guys, like the Excalibur guy from AEW, they're trying to, he said he dropped the N-bomb back in the day. Now that's a little extreme, but at the same time, you know what? He did it, and you would never hear that on WWE Network. But the thing is, people are doing things they're not thinking. Okay? They're not thinking. But if you could be in a playful manner without being a racist, that's what the back of the day was. And if you're an idiot, independent wrestling announcer who thinks that just because you wear a mask and wear a suit, that's good, that's good enough to be a broadcaster, what's wrong with today's Tony Khan, dude? I met you at the bar. And I'm not going to talk negative because you know what? you didn't give me a chance. And maybe after you watch this, go Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though I'm not a fan, but I do want a job. Can't lie. But I'm not brown nosing anymore. If you don't think I have more talent, my pinky, here's my pinky. There it is. Graphic. Pinky. I have more talent in my pinky than people do in their whole body. And I can say it wholeheartedly because I'm blessed that I was given this chance to express talent as a sober man, as a guy who's delivering a passionate perspective of professional wrestling. Because today's product will never beat the 80s, the 90s. Even the early zeros was better than what we have today, and the 10s and the rest of it. I'm sorry. I totally lost interest. But what you're doing right now is you're tuning in to a show that gives you a perspective like no other, a perspective that you'll never forget. Because Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff is giving it to you straight. Shoot. Now, what we're doing today, folks, is talking about a show that revolutionized, and it was a documentary that I watched on the WWE Network, and I'll tell you right now, they have so much original content. Where Mean Gene Okerlund usually does the commentary, this one is with Taz, with two Z's, by the way, when he was in WWE. Now, Taz is the commentator for this 1990s best of the 90s thing, and Mean Gene Okerlund is a commentator for a Saturday Night's Main Event one that talks about the 80s Saturday Night's Main Event. So I watch these documentaries, and they educate me on the world of wrestling. But today we're going to focus on not the best of the 90s. We're going to focus on Saturday Night's Main Event, which was narrated by Mean Gene Okerlund, where you see him on camera. He talks about the segment before. And Hogan, I can tell you, Hulk Hogan, the immortal one, was literally almost every single main event from like 85-ish, 86-ish when the show's debuting, all the way up until 1992 when he departs from the World Wrestling Federation and he decides to go pursue a TV show career and a movie career. Now, Saturday Night's Main Event was essentially replacing, it was Dick Ebersol from NBC, who was in charge there, had a relationship with Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon had a relationship with the USA Network. So all this unfolded because of all this relationship connections, in networking, if you will. Hey, we're on USA Network. Why don't we go in primetime, late night? So it's not disrupting Saturday nights. It's only disrupting Saturday Night Live, which basically was preempted 1 week. So that way they could do Saturday Night's Main Event. And I believe sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, they found a way to incorporate both of them. But I could be wrong. But I believe that it was preempted every week. Anytime that Saturday Night's Main Event took place, it took the place of the SNL for that night. So I used to try to stay up. And I was a little kid. I couldn't do it. Little kid. Wanted to watch Hulkamania. Wanted to watch anything for the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper, Cowboy Bob Orton, Paul Orndorff. All these guys were big mainstay names. Captain Lou Albano, the Iron Sheik, number one Iron Sheik. America, ha, two. That was what Saturday Night's Main Event was, folks. It was a show like no other, full of characters, full of excitement, full of snakes. Jake the Snake Roberts, Andre the Giant, the double referee situation right before WrestleMania 4 when the Macho Man Randy Savage becomes the new World Wrestling Federation champion in a tournament, brother. One of the best tournaments of all time, in my opinion. See, even you didn't expect Randy Savage, did you? But Randy Savage is stuck because of me and my little sit down like I did, like I'm watching TV here. This is me. Oh, wow. Yeah. That was Saturday Night's Main Event for me. And the Macho Man Randy Savage and the Hulkster brother. And eventually the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, who became a part of the 1990s WWFE version. And I'll tell you, it was one of those things where Sid Justice, not Sid Vicious, who rules the world, was a part of it, folks. Yes, every single WCW, NWA wrestler from the late 80s to early 90s had a possible jump to Vince McMahon's league because they were the mainstay company. Everyone said WCW, NWA was always the number two in their opinions because they just knew that Vince McMahon had the money and he had the TV and he had the pay-per-views and he just knew what to do. Closed circuit TV at WrestleMania 3, Pontiac Silverdome, 93,000 plus. Folks, the biggest attraction in WrestleMania history. And I think they tried to make it bigger for this one in Texas, but sometimes they say Vince McMahon and the WWE fluctuates their numbers. I don't know if it's a fact or not. I don't count everyone that bought a ticket. I don't count the freebies. All I know is that people go to the show and they enjoy an extravaganza like nothing you've ever seen. I've been to many of them. WrestleMania 12. I've been to WrestleMania 21, 2 and 3. And I can tell you, folks, the Pontiac Silverdome was a big one. But for me, my WrestleMania at Ford Field in Michigan was so cool when John Cena drove his Mustang through that glass thing. And we just had a great energy at an open field. It was a great, great time. I won't ever forget it. I think it was, I was in awe of the sea of humanity that was around me. And I had good seats. I paid like $300 to be like down low. And I'll tell you, I could see everyone around me like, whoa, look at everybody here. And it's like the ring here. Oh my goodness, look at that WrestleMania. I don't know. I just wanted to give you the kind of like that feeling I had. And that's what I'm talking about. And that was, by the way, Vince McMahon tells you, it's WrestleMania. You know the music. That's such a horrible version of it. In iTunes, I apologize for that noise right now. But that was WrestleMania. It was one of the spectacles of spectacles in the history of sports and entertainment. So what we're doing today, folks, we're telling you Saturday night's main event was one of the best shows in the history of broadcast television because it brought characters, it brought all kinds of things that allowed us to enjoy the sport of wrestling and the entertainment of wrestling combined in one on a mainstream platform. Before it was Monday Night Raw. So this is it. That looked bad. Raw. Anyways, all I can tell you is that there's a lot of stuff that you can learn just from watching these Saturday night main events because you learn that Vince McMahon actually was a good guy persona. He was a good guy character. He didn't even cause trouble. But in the late 90s, we know no chance. So you get a different version of Vince McMahon even to enjoy. This dorky, conservative, always laughing at Jesse the Body Ventura's commentary. And when he would say, yeah, just shut up, McMahon. That was Saturday night's main event. Bobby the Brain Heenan, the genius, Lanny Poffo, all these guys with characters. Bobby the Brain Heenan, amazing on the microphone. Always cracks me up. There isn't a time that Bobby the Brain Heenan talking to me. There isn't a time that Bobby the Brain Heenan does not throw a curveball at you. You know, I mean, he just, the way he screws up answering the telephone. Hello? Hello? Everything to do. If you've never watched a Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, Primetime Wrestling, subscribe to the network. That will pay for itself. If you don't laugh 80,000 times, even if you're a non-wrestling fan, I will pay your money back. That $10. Okay? But don't keep asking when I blow up the show. Not like figuratively, but you know what I mean. When I get bigger and I have money, my friends. That was my version of a guy with oil and my friends. Because I used to be Sheikh Hassan number one, Iraq number one. Anyways, I digress. You know what? This is the way I get, folks. I get very interesting. I get different. SNL, different. Sketch comedy. Anyways, I'm not promoting myself for other shows through the show. Yes, I am. Stranger Things. Don't you think I look strange? I don't know. I have to. I'm sorry. What other hot shows are there out there? 90210 is not a hot show. No. Anyways, it's no longer exists. They did a reality version of it. We're not going to talk about it. It was horrible. Anyways. Folks, I think I'm going to wrap it up right now. I think we've done good. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it's time. But you know what's interesting? My time is now. But are you subscribing? We want our subscribers. We want our viewership. We want people to love Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. Please subscribe to the network. Subscribe to Larry's show. Do what you have to do to stay healthy and happy. And folks, all this is because we're doing week after week. How's it go? Day after day, week after week, year after year. We're doing this for you, folks, on Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. So do me a favor, folks, before I lose my voice. You see these lights? Yeah. Always come out of the darkness. Not like the Undertaker. Oh, yes. I want you to do me a favor. Not for me. Do it for yourselves. Have an attitude of gratitude. Enjoy your life. Go vegan. Plant-based. Anyways, focus. Your life, my life, our lives, or whatever you make of it. Just go out there to the real world today and do me a favor. Not the fake world. The real world. Not that show on MTV. The real world. Just go out into the world and do me a favor. Simply make it a great one. Thank you for tuning in to our show, Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye now.